Everyone, we are here with, oh my gosh, one of my favorite people. She probably doesn't even know that. I'm going
Oh,
to introduce you to my very, very first hairdresser outside of my mother, which is my cousin, my sweet cousin Kim. Kim, say hi to everyone.
hello, grand rising to everyone.
So I asked Kim to just have a conversation with me surrounding hair today because I think there's a lot of shame around our hair. There's a lot of things that we try to do to our hair, manipulate our hair. And there's one thing that she taught me from the time I was a child, and that is just hair. It's just hair. It doesn't define who we are in the least. So, funny enough, I am now 52, and we are what, just, how old did you say you are?
I'm 58.
So if you're 58 and I'm 52, how old were you when you were doing my hair?
So I must have been maybe 19 because I got my cosmetology license through high school. So there was a program in my high school, vocational program, cosmetology. And when I graduated from high school, I graduated with my cosmetology license at
Wow.
18. So I've been doing hair now for 37 years. So um yeah, that
Do you still do hair? And now I think you
I
teach.
do. I do hair only on Fridays now. So I guess that's one of the luxuries of having been doing hair for 37 years. So just Fridays only.
Wow.
I have a group of people that have been with me for 30 years, 25 years, 20 years, 36 years.
And if I was still in Ohio, I would be there too.
That's
I
what's
would be
up.
there too. And I've seen you, I want to say, morph with so many different hairstyles. How do you embrace that? How do you just switch up like that?
So why I switch up like that? Well, number one, it's that creativity that's in all of us. Everyone just has to take the time to tap into it because it's in all of us. And so, me being who I am, I just be like, you know what? Like today, yesterday, I just did this. I was blonde, a little blonder, and I just wanted to switch up. And prior to that, I said, let me start over and cut all my hair off. And I don't have a whole lot of gray just in the front, but I like the versatility of loving myself
Ah,
by being myself,
ah.
right?
I need
So,
you to talk a little bit more on that. What does that mean to you? When you say loving yourself by being yourself, talk a little bit more on that. How do you express that with your hair?
so I express that by embracing my reflection of who I believe God has made me to be and is still making me to be.
Mhm.
I embrace that by seeing a reflection uh, of beauty, flaws and all. You know, when I was 30, a mole came on my nose, and I was like, oh. But then I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay. I received that.
yeah.
I received that. I embraced that reflection
Mm.
as an I'm at peace with that reflection, right? So I think it's a intimacy with ourselves
Got it.
to be at peace with ourselves, how we look, how we desire to look, and not how we look to other people, because that reflection is what we see in the mirror, what we see within ourselves. So that doesn't come from like, so you see young people, not even young people, but older people, our age and younger and older, they're inundated with social media. This is how you should look. This is how you should wear your hair, weave long hair. down to your middle, your back, and whatever, whatever. Um, this is how you should speak. This is how you should walk. The magazines. I mean, so to be at peace with the reflection that you see of yourself, it's a daily process. It's a daily process. It's one that takes patience. I believe loving ourselves is not an overnight thing. It's a continual thing. And because we might find something so simple as um, a new lipstick
Mhm.
or no lipstick.
Right.
There are times where I don't wear lip color because I do feel like my natural lips are beautiful without it.
Mhm.
That took me a while because since I was in the beauty industry and I felt like I had to, present myself a certain way, which I still do,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I do in the form of loving myself more and accepting who I am and how I look to myself,
Yeah.
to myself, not to other people. Because
Okay.
other people are gonna always say, "Ooh, I don't know. I don't think I like that on her. Oh, that don't look good. She thinks she look good." I mean, these voices that bounce off of us from other
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
but because we are so stable in seeing the reflection of ourselves as beautiful and strong and accepting to ourselves. I think it's an inward thing. It's definitely an inward thing that reflects outward.
Got it. So
And then
basically, what you're saying is first you have to learn to love yourself
you
first, and
have
you
to
and when you look in the mirror, it's what's beautiful to you, not what's beautiful to what other people are saying, and what it's what when you look in the mirror, do you like what you see?
exactly.
Right. Do you like what
And
you see?
and 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 the thing, if you don't like what you see, you have to mentally say, well, why don't I like what I see?
Ah, yes.
Why don't I like what I see? I've been created in his image, in his own
Mm,
image.
mm,
You know, my mother and my father. I have this from my mother. I have this from my father. I have that from my grandmother. I have that from my grandfather or my great grandmother, from our ancestors. Why don't we embrace all of who God has made us to be and is still forming and creating us to be um, in his likeness, but yet still embracing the fact because if it's his likeness, and we're created in his image. And he said he made all things and it was what? It was good.
good.
It was good. So, how they say, good hair, bad hair. No, hair is hair.
Oh
Like I,
gosh,
like I, like
yeah,
I shared with you before,
yeah.
hair is hair. And, in order to embrace whatever phase of life that you're in with your hair, because our hair changes,
Hmm.
our texture changes, you know, as we get older, we get a little thinner, in areas, grayer, but that is still a reflection of the beauty of who we are. And that is, self love in every phase of life. And I think, of course, as you get older, you kind of like, oh, okay, I love that. But even for the young
Oh,
women,
yeah.
we have to say, you're beautiful without lashes.
Mhm.
I tell my daughter all the time, her bottom lash is longer than some people's top lash. I
Wow.
said, Anaya, your lashes are
Oh
beautiful.
my God.
You are beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, she likes to wear the long hair, and I'm okay with that. She's okay with that. But her natural hair is curly.
Mm.
It's a beautiful, I would call her a three C, and then I think which your other friend is going to talk about, the different types of hair, 2C, 2A, B, C, down to 4, C, B.
Mm.
People don't understand the dynamics of that. And it's new for us. We've always known it, but on a scale where they can get a product, of course, that will match their hair type is the struggle
Yeah.
there.
I
But
will tell you, I still struggle with that. You know, to
yeah,
this day, I still struggle with trying to figure out what works
yeah,
well for my hair and
it's
not wanting
very
to put
yeah.
things in it that's going to damage it more or give me too many chemicals or toxins. I still struggle with that. Um, but I I have to tell you, I have two hairdressers coming on, and I didn't even know my hair looked like this anymore. You see, so when you did my hair when I was in my teens, when I moved back to New York, it was just perm and rinse, perm and rinse, perm and rinse, and my hair was always back, right? So I never knew it was graying like that. I didn't know what the texture was. To me it felt kinky in between the perms, so go ahead and perm that out. And I didn't even know. And when I got it cut, I had all these curls, and I was like, how many years did I not even know what my hair was like, you know?
Yeah.
And therefore I wasn't really embracing me. I was embracing a look that I thought I should have,
Was accepted to other
was
people.
accepted. This is amazing. So when women come to you and I'm sure you've seen this throughout the years. Oh, my hair, my hair, my hair. How do you deal with women? Do you have these conversations with them about hair, or do you just give them what they want?
No, I do. That's one thing about me. I am a hair care specialist. So I do not give them what they want. I tell them what's best for their hair, and I show them, and then we go from there. If they trust me, I do my thing. If they want to transition, I tell them, I spell it out. Now, you're going to have to embrace the fact that you're starting over. Don't look at it as, oh, my hair is ugly. I look ugly. I mean, because this is what I get. This is ugly. I can't deal with this. I
Yeah.
had one client to actually go from relaxer to natural back to relaxer. Two people did that. They were like, mm-mm, I can't do this. I said, well, it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, and you have to be ready. When I say ready, not um, for what other people are going to say, but you have to be accepting, like we were saying earlier, that that reflection, be at peace with that reflection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, buy some hoops,
Mm.
or define your eyebrows a little more. Not that you are doing it for others, but you're still trying to say, okay, let me see what I can do, what I'd like,
Yeah.
because it's all still a reflection of self-love. That I get up, that I got up this morning. I'm not working this morning, but I got up and I put my face on, I did my hair a little bit
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
That is, I feel good. Now, now, are all of my circumstances aligned? No,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no,
Right.
but I still feel good. So I think that's an area where a lot of women struggle as well, that they have to have everything aligned. They have to have X amount of money in the bank. They have to have a husband. They have to have the house. They have to have, the car. They have to have all these things.
Yeah.
And all of these things, they are just temporary things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But but the reflection of our beauty being self-love is eternal. It's an eternal thing.
Yes.
It's an eternal thing, you know. Um, so yeah, I've had to tell a lot of women, this is what you can expect,
Mm-hmm.
and they trust me, and I have some that are completely natural, and even I, as a hairstylist, because there are so many products out there, it can be confusing to
Yeah.
find. the right product for 4C hair, the right product for 2A hair. And so it's a trial and error, you know.
Yeah.
Even I, like I said, I've brought products that, you know, may not work for X amount of hair. Most of my clients now, I would say 60% of my clients are older people that have been with me for a very long time.
Hmm.
And I've seen them transition from black hair to gray hair.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
some of
Talk
them,
about the gray hair for me, please.
yes, and some of them, you know, uh, they still kind of wear it short but relaxed. I had a lady who's 80 years old, gets around like she's 60,
Wow.
and she said, I'm thinking I want to go natural. And so I said, okay. So I cut the sides short, you know, and we just curled the top part. We kind of moosed it out a little bit and curled the top part. And then she says, she came back in 2 weeks later. She said, you know, I thought I was ready,
Hmm.
but my children, they're like,
Mm.
Mom, what are you doing? So her hair had been her signature. You know, she still's gray, but you know, how I styled it, you know, being that it was relaxed, had been a signature for her for so long. And she was like, mm, I think I'll go back to the relaxer. So at 80, she still was looking at, not at peace with the reflection of her hair, and embraced that self love to say, you know what, whether I'm natural or whether it's straight, I'm going to be okay and I'm going to love it.
Right.
So she didn't give them a chance to see that transformation, you know, but yet because of the voices of other people, she went back to the relaxer. But I think she's going to go
Back
natural.
to nature. And it's funny when you talk about the voices of other people, eventually they become our chatter, right?
Yes.
They become our chatter, whether it was something that was said to you as a child or middle age or 80. Eventually they become your chatter. And now you're questioning yourself, what if I do this? Should I do this? But yet, one thing you just said is you're not at peace, right? You're
Right.
still either people pleasing or you're still trying to be this image that somebody else thinks you should have
Yeah.
versus just being yourself. I tell you, when I saw my hair was gray, because on my father's side is gray. Our side, we're not gray, right? And so I have more gray than my mom. And it's like, what the heck? Now, not growing up with my father or my father's side, I didn't know that I had it, right? So when I saw my hair graying, and now I have this young boy, right? This little boy, and I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna look like his grandmother, you know. And he came over to me. He says, "Mommy, I love your hair." And
Wow.
he just rubbed it, and he says,
Beautiful.
"Mommy, I love your hair the way that it is." And not
Beautiful.
that I was taking advice from a child, but it was a spirit to spirit thing in that moment.
Yes.
It was from coming from a child who loves me unconditionally, that hasn't grown up enough to know what the world says I should or should not look like.
Yes.
He saw me through love, right? And when he said, "I love your hair the way it is," I had one tear just roll down the side of my face.
Mm.
And in that moment I knew I don't have to please anyone else or anything. This is who I am. And I
This
was
is who-
evolving anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was already going through my my evolution to the butterfly
Your
that I am today,
metamorphosis.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of your
And so
cocoon into this
I was
beautiful
coming out
butterfly.
anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And
Yeah.
then I just started to embrace it. And then I started having little curly do's and everything else. And I feel so liberated. And I go in a grocery store and I see some older women. I'm always catching people looking at me. And then it's like, oh, yeah, it's the hair. I even forget, oh, it's the hair. They're like, wow, this woman's got, gray hair,
Yeah, but
And so,
it may not be the hair, Sandy.
hmm.
It might be that you're just glowing, you're just shining,
Yeah,
you
cool.
know, and And as I see you on, Instagram, and I see you're shining more and more and more, you
Mm,
know, while you embracing your change and your transition, and you're growing in your business, you're growing in every area of your life. That causes us to shine.
yeah.
And we wonder, and then you're the type of person, as well as I am, and I'm sure a lot of other people, whether they recognize it or not, a lot of people are drawn to something that they really don't know what it is.
Mm.
But yeah, that's that
It's the God
shine
in me.
bright like a diamond.
Yes, it's the God in me.
It's the God
Because
in
I've gotten to a point where I'm able to shed a lot of things that were holding me down. And once I got that awareness, it was like, oh no, nothing's gonna stop me now. You know what I'm saying? I have a calling, and I'm
yeah,
gonna step into it. And
yeah,
I answered to, I answered to God. But it's a
yeah,
process, like you said earlier. It's a
definitely
process.
possible.
There's a lot of wrestling back and forth. Like, you want me to do what? You want me to step out and do what? Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And so here I am. And this is why I'm here, right? Beauty is self-acceptance, you know. So in a few words, or how you want to wrap this up, talk about beauty being self-acceptance. If someone was sitting in your chair struggling with this right now, talk to them. How is beauty self-acceptance?
Well, I probably would uh, minister to that place in them that needed a little healing,
Mhm.
because I don't think that you could fully grasp that beauty is acceptance of ourselves, of oneself, without the healing process. So, like we said, there's a process.
Yeah.
So, I would probably speak to the spirit man of that person first, and um, and I will be led of God. And I have done this many, many times. And I would pray for my client sitting in my chair.
That's
I would actually lay hands on my client sitting in my chair. And one prime example, I had a lady she's been coming to me about 4 months now. She had an area right here that she was working with and was concerned with. And so I showed it to her before and after the relaxer. It's still there, but I caught her under the dryer going like this. I said,
beautiful.
you actually have a nervous area where you're just constantly picking at this area. It's not that it's falling out because of something that you've done, a chemical or a product. It's you picking at it. And so she said, after a couple of weeks, she said, I've been catching myself doing that. I said, yes, it's a nervous problem. I said, do you know why you do that? And she says, of course, when she's stressed.
Mm,
So stress levels are different for different people, right? And we handle them differently. But so this area, that she was so concerned about, once she stopped putting her hands in it and started, just saying, God, I just thank you for peace. I thank you that, for the things that I can't change and the things that I can change, give me strength to do that. And so now it's starting to grow back.
wow.
And I had laid hands on her head, and I had prayed over that area, and I prayed for her. And so I'm seeing a difference. She's seeing a difference. So I think that, some of the things internally have to be addressed before we can fully accept who we are, the way we look, how our hair is, as a form of self love. So that's where I start. I start with the spirit man, healing, to address those things. Even as far as eating more fruits and vegetables, more whole foods, and taking minerals and vitamins, more so minerals from the earth. Someone changing their diet, someone more people drinking more alkaline water.
Mhm.
Some people say, oh, that's a myth. No, because the alkaline water has minerals in it, minerals that we don't normally get every day in our bodies by way of just foods that we eat. So I think all of these things come into play to the whole self.
Mhm.
The accepting of our skin, our
Mhm.
skin. I tell my daughter all the time, you have to drink water, water, water. And it's like a shower to our organs. It's
Yes.
a shower to
Yes.
every part of our bodies because our bodies are made up of it. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's where I normally would start. And then normally that kind of falls into place because then they start feeling better, people start feeling better, and no matter what they do with their hair and there's how they put their makeup on or not, it's an inward thing that causes our outward man to shine and be healthier, and therefore we accept the reflection of
Mm.
ourselves as loving ourselves.
Ladies, if you look in the mirror and you're not at peace, you gotta first explore that. You have to ask yourself why. Why you're not at peace? What's going on there? What is that chatter telling you? Right? And you have to break that chatter down. Right? You are beautifully and wonderfully made. And you first have to get the junk off of you so that you can see your true authenticity, who you really are. And then, as Kim said, then you can learn to heal and then accept. So, thank you for joining us today on our little
You're
segment
welcome.
of Yes,
You're
Beauty is Self Acceptance. Thank you, sweet cousin, for making the
welcome.
time to just come and chat and inspire again and again and again.
Amen. 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 I love you. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
And I thank you
so,
for being bold and courageous to do what you're doing. And I believe that many, many, many women will receive help and acceptance
yeah.
and love themselves in a deeper and more beautiful way.